Hey, just wanted to talk to y'all about something, a story I told last week in church, and you might enjoy it. Um, when I was at my Uncle Dale's house in Tennessee a few years ago, right before he died, he had been in prison and he had lived an outlaw's life all of his life, and he came to the Lord when he was in a wheelchair and on oxygen when he was older, and he really got a soft heart, toward the end. But there was a lot of stories that he told me, and he said, he said, I can tell you these things, but don't tell anybody these stories until after I die. So that makes my ears perk up. And his wife would always say, Dale, don't tell him all them drug dealing, prison stories and killing stories and all this. But he knew I loved to hear them, and he loved to tell them. But anyway, he was in Chillicothe prison in the 70s, and he said there was this kid in there about 20 years old that got like 2 years or something for selling weed or a little cocaine or something. But he said a good kid, and he said he was scared to death. He kept saying, Dale, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I can't stay here. And so Dale said, he said, well, if they didn't parole me after Dale got 5 to 20 for aggravated murder, they lowered the charges to manslaughter. So he said, my lawyer told me they're letting me out after 5 years, which would be like in 6 months. He said, if they were making me do the whole 20, I was going to escape. But he said, I had a whole plan, but I don't think, he said, I'm not going to run because I'm going to get paroled. So he said, I'll help you. If you want to get out, I'll give you my plan to get out. And so he said, when we go in the work detail, in the workshop area, he said, what they do, he said they would put a chain around your neck with a dog tag with a number on it. He said, when we leave, all they do is take your dog tag off and hang it up on a pegboard with a number. He said the guard just looks at the pegboard and makes sure all the chains and all the dog tags all the pegs are full with every chain on it. He said, just give me your dog tag and I'll hang it up for you. But he said, listen carefully to what you have to do. He said, first of all, we're going to have to wait till there's a hard rain for a few days. And but he said, I've looked at a map, and he said, I want you to go to the machine shop. He said, I've seen where the guard hides the key. He don't take him with him. He hides the key to the machine shop and the tool shop under this shelf, under this thing. And he showed him where he hid it. And he said, when we all leave, he said, you take that key and you go hide in the machine shop on the shelf. And when we get gone, and he said, I will wear shorts and a t-shirt under my jumpsuit. I'll go in the bathroom, put it in a plastic bag, put it under the back of the toilet, and so you'll have other clothes. But he said, inside that machine shop is a ladder, and they also did their own tires, and they had inner tubes and air compressors. He said, I want you to blow up an inner tube, a truck tire inner tube. Take the ladder out at night, whatever time before they do roll call or whatever. And he said, he showed him a spot on the fence, the only spot on the fence where the guard towers couldn't see. Kind of machine shop was blocking it. And he said, lean the ladder against the, of course, put the clothes on, blow up the inner tube. He said there's a canvas tarp in there that they use for something. He said, get on the ladder, lean it against the fence, and he said take that canvas tarp and throw it over the razor wire, then get back up and throw that inner tube over the fence. And he said if you'll walk, I don't remember what he said, 300 yards or 500 yards or something through those woods that way. He said, I've seen on the map where there is a river. And he said wait till it comes a hard rain, and the river's up. He said, you take that inner tube and hit that. He said, if you go 3 or 4 miles down, I forget how far, when the river's running fast, he said the dogs won't be able to get your scent. And he said, you'll hit the interstate going 2 directions. I don't remember if it was north, south, or east or west, but he said, you go there, hit a truck stop, and bam, catch a ride anywhere you want. And he said, before they took the count, and I don't remember if it was at night or in the morning or whatever, but he said he laid down and he heard the sirens going off in the prison. He said, I started laughing, saying, run, little buddy, run. And he said he got away and they never did catch him. He said, as far as I know, he said he never did come back to Chillicothe. He said, I never did hear of them catching him. But the reason every person was in that prison is because they had put themselves there from a crime they committed. And, you know, some people feel like they are in a spiritual prison. Now, some people are in a spiritual prison because of the wrong things that they have done and they can't seem to get out. Some people are in a spiritual prison because of things that have been done to them. Maybe you've been abused. Maybe you've been, I don't know, molested or just talked down to your whole life. You know, people tell you you're nothing, you're worthless, you'll never be nothing. Maybe you were physically, emotionally, sexually abused. I don't know this, but just like my Uncle Dale had a well thought out plan to get that guy out of prison, Jeremiah 29:11 said, my plans for you are good and not evil. God has a plan for you to get out of your spiritual prison. Whether it's your fault or whether it's someone else's fault, God has a plan. Now, I don't advocate breaking out of prisons and comparing something so illegal to something that is righteous, but it did hold your attention, didn't it? So I just want to make you know that God has a plan, but you have to follow his plan. It can't be your plan. His plan is that you go to church, you have a pastor, you read your Bible, you pray. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So your plan has to be in alignment with God's plan. It will not work any other way. So I just thank you for listening to me today, and I pray that blesses you.